Hi everyone, my name is Amber Moore and this is EDL 854 Module 1. So just a little bit about myself. I have four beautiful girls and a husband who I've been with for almost 19 years this May. We live out in the panhandle of Nebraska. This is actually where I was born and raised. In my free time, which is pretty limited, I do enjoy reading and spending time with my family and cooking with my girls in the kitchen. Uh, I attended undergrad school at the University of Nebraska-Kearney, where I got a bachelor's in special education and middle grades math. I went on to get a master's in K-12 special education, and currently I'm working on a master's in counseling and an endorsement in administration. One of my favorite quotes I wanted to share with you guys was, "Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best that they can possibly be." Rita Pearson. And this is something that I try to live by every day, so I just wanted to share this with you guys. Professional background, I was a 712 special education teacher in a K-12 school in the central part of Nebraska for about 5 years. I taught in that school, I taught math, 7th and 8th grade reading, ran the transition program, and served our kids from 7th grade to age 21. So it was a pretty busy job. We moved to Wyoming for about a year where I taught special education, and I'm currently in my 4th year of teaching special education at Scottsbluff High School here out in the Panhandle. I specialize in math and behavior interventions. I co-sponsor a Circle of Friends group for our students with autism, and I also support our students with disabilities at our alternative school. So I'm very, very busy during the day. In regards to principals and their role in finance, some of the things that I gleaned from the information provided was that principals really do need more control over those finances. They know the needs of students and staff, and they should have the authority to allocate funds. I also wanted to mention that finances need to match the vision and the mission of the schools. So when thinking about allocating finances, what is your school's vision? What is the mission statement? And where really do you want those funds to go? And reporting as well. There really is a checks and balances when it comes to reporting, and it's important to remember where you need to report certain budgets to and who they belong to. Couple of other things that I gleaned from those websites was the site or the school-based management versus the central management. So in the SBM or the school-based management, principals have the autonomy to allocate resources, the goals and the financial resources are aligned, and it really drives a service-based culture. When looking at central management, the good things of this one is the consistency across the district. It's cost effective when you think about it in regards to transportation, food programs, or any of the extended programs that are offered by schools throughout the district. Typically in larger school districts, you see a lot more central management, especially when the systems need to be cohesive throughout the district. If you have several high schools, middle schools, and elementaries. Some of the responsibilities are developing the budget, really, and what that is just a record of the revenue and expenditures. Fundraising is another responsibility that principals must coordinate. They're not necessarily in charge of the fundraising itself, but just making sure that they're approving fundraising activities, making sure there's not too much fundraising going on at any one given time, and then making sure that the money is spent appropriately by each of those groups. And then teacher salaries, making sure that teacher salaries are aligned with the Department of Education and meet the standards as set by them. Scottsbluff High School is currently the high school that I teach in. So when thinking about some things that maybe I've seen my principal do or not do, we serve 3,500 students in the district, and we have about 1,000 students at our high school. I spoke with our principal previously. We have a head principal, and then we have 3 assistant principals, and our head principal mentioned that he is allocated a certain amount of money that he gets to budget specifically for our building. So a little bit of that site-based management. Some of the things that I've witnessed him do is he's in charge of the fundraising. He approves curriculum, although the teachers have a really big say in that. He definitely approves that. Classroom supplies, he provides a budget to each of the teachers every year. And in IEP meetings, if there is something that needs to be purchased for a student with a disability, our administration is there to approve those materials. Being in a larger school, I think there's a lot of things that I'm not going to see. Typically, he doesn't share any major financial decisions with staff. Every once in a while, our superintendent will let us know if we get a big grant, but those really big decisions are not shared. And then the reality is most of the financial decisions made in our building are not shared with us. So there's a lot that I still haven't seen. I assume in a smaller building, you're going to see things a little differently. So some of the concerns that I have in regards to being an administrator in working with the finances is really what we see right now is a lack of funding to properly implement policies and procedures, and that's a concern that I have. Having to make tough decisions, that's something that I'm concerned about, especially as a special education teacher. I've seen where we, give one group money for something, but another group doesn't necessarily get the same funding. And so I think that that would be a really tough situation to be in. And then I think that, when you're working in larger school districts, you're not going to have as much control over your funding as you would in maybe a smaller school district. And so, working in a school that does not give their building principals the autonomy that they need, because really building principals are there with their kids and their students and staff every single day. And so they're much more cognizant of what their schools need. So those would be some concerns that I think I would have as a future administrator. Here's the list of references that I used for this PowerPoint. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. Thanks.